All right, are you ready?
Yeah? This episode is brought to you by Carlisle Tattoo Co. Bold, bright and everlasting. You can find us at 178 Carlisle Street, St Kilda, Melbourne, Australia. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Carlisle Studios. My name is Hal Hunter. I am lucky enough once again to be here with my wife and newly crowned mother.
Crowned?
Yeah,
I didn't get a crown.
No, you didn't. Bella Hunter.
Hello.
This is our first episode back recording, just the two of us in a few weeks. Most recently we had Cody, Charles and Jack take over and do an episode of their own. That was something that hopefully you all listened to.
We should have called it Boys Gone Wild or something.
Yeah, or Boys to Men.
Yeah.
Down on
We missed
one.
out on that.
Yeah. Sorry. What was I saying?
Previous episodes.
Yeah, sorry. They approached me. They said they'd like to do an episode of themselves, see how they go, something new in their journeys in tattooing. I think from my perspective or our perspective, it was a good chance to hear some opinions of tattooers who are at different stages of their careers to myself and Bella. Mm-hmm. Definitely on the up and up, all three of them. All three of them have come up in either Vintique or Carlisle. Mm-hmm. And yeah, just good to sort of give them the freedom to, or give them the opportunity to have the freedom to talk and voice their opinions and have discussions without Bella or I being there.
Let them loose.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought it was a pretty funny episode.
I had quite a few laughs.
Yeah, some interesting points of views. Really happy that they said they look up to us, which was good.
I sent them all a message being like, fuck, you blokes sound like you all want to suck Hal's dick.
Well, that's what I wrote in the notes. I sent them all the notes. I was like, you have to mention me.
Well, they definitely did.
Nah, I definitely didn't say that.
There was one section where Jack said give me the dick or something like that. And Charles sent a 3-second recording of it. And I played it 10 times. I was pissing myself.
Yeah. No, it was, very funny. Impressive. Something that I definitely wouldn't have felt comfortable doing at that stage of my career.
No way.
Yeah, you neither Bella, but I guess that's a sign that
we're pushers.
Well, yeah, times are changing for tattooers.
I don't think you get that reference. It's a reference from the movie Mean Girls. And there's the teacher and she goes, I'm a pusher, Caddy. I'm a pusher.
The fact that I definitely wouldn't get that.
A lot of people will get that though. So
okay.
Just because you're lame.
What was Lindsay Lohan? Was she in that? Lindsay Lohan? Yeah, okay.
You see, you know something. I've taught you something in our time together.
But what I was saying, Bella, was it might be a sign that of times are changing with tattooers and careers, and maybe you've got to be ready to do certain things that I wasn't ready to do or you wouldn't have been ready to do even 4 years ago. Well,
yeah, it's social media. I only had Instagram starting out. Now everyone's got to be doing Instagram, TikToks. Some people still do the Facebook. That's how old I am now.
Threads.
Yeah.
Back on Twitter.
I'm not on Threads. I'm not on Twitter.
No, neither am I.
No.
This is where I put my tweets out.
Yeah. Tweet.
And the episode before that was with one of our good friends and mentor, Scott Moss. We went through lots of things about his career. He's had a really long career for such a young artist. He's into lots of different things, cars, machine building. He's a family man, shop owner, a super, super well-versed tattooer. So that was... And yeah, he was one of my mentors, so it was really exciting for me personally to be able to sit down and talk to him and ask him questions. I guess sort of felt a little bit like when you become an adult and then you can have adult discussions with your parents.
Yeah.
And
you can talk about taxes and politics.
Yeah, they don't talk to you like you're like a child and stuff. So that was, me and Scott have had discussions like that, but not in an official capacity and stuff like that in the past. So yeah, it was really cool. And it's funny. I didn't actually mention this on the podcast, but with Scott, I didn't mention how he's done like a full 180 with the social media because he's now happy. He was happy to come on the podcast and seemed really comfortable and he had stuff to say and he was prepared and stuff like that. But I remember when I first started at Vintique, I had like one of those accounts called like Traditional Tattoos or whatever. You see them around and they're accounts that obviously post like tattoos from all different artists, but sometimes it's a tattooer running them, but it's not like trying to promote to say, hey, come get a tattoo by me.
Yeah. It's just spreading heaps of artists' work.
Yeah, and some of the accounts have like 1 million followers and stuff. Like they're huge.
How many did yours have, Dal?
It had a few thousand actually.
Oh, damn it.
But mine was very niche. It was only about Melbourne tattooers. So somewhat limiting. But anyway, I still post on it all the time. And I did have in my mind that at some point it would be an avenue to start promoting, because I started it before like I tattooed.
Yes.
And I thought at some point it would be an avenue to just promote myself, as in like you post all the best tattooers, and even if I didn't fall into that category, I'd still post my own stuff on there.
You'd still slide your own work in every now and then.
But I used to post paintings and stuff on there as well from artists. But anyway, I remember one time, the first time actually, I posted one of Scott's tattoos. And he came in the next day and he's like, don't ever fucking post my photos on there again.
Yeah, I remember you messaged me being like, oh my God, Scott's so mad that I posted this stuff.
And I was like,
I don't know if I should delete it or not.
Okay. But I think at the time,
you were rattled by that.
Because that was when Instagram was just starting to becoming like more of a regular thing, especially in tattooing.
Oh, he was off the social media hard.
Scott wasn't like a huge adapter of it. He had it and stuff, but he didn't really. And I respect this in a way and this was the mindset of a lot of tattooers, was that it's like, just because you have a following on social media and just because you put effort into it and others don't, that doesn't actually mean you can do a good tattoo, and it doesn't mean you are better than someone who has 100 followers but fucking does the best tattoos in the world. And Scott was very much of that mindset. So I think he was just a little bit reluctant on it, but now he's like utilizes social media. He still doesn't like it, but he makes. I don't think
there are many tattooers that love it because it is work.
No, I don't know. I think there's a lot of tattooers who want to be popular on there for gratification, and I guess to some extent, like it does give you a level of like control and status and stuff over your tattooing career.
Yes.
But yeah, some of the best tattooers in the world don't even have Instagram. So
it
depends where you sit, Yep. Anyway, we'll kick it off. If you haven't listened to those 2 episodes, go have a listen.
Oh, sorry, I just bit my lip.
Oh, damn. Weekly recap, Bella. It's been quite eventful for both of us, but you've had to do more effort than me.
Yes, I have.
Can I make a claim?
Sure.
Guinness Book of World Records. I haven't contacted them officially.
Okay.
I would love to know if there's anybody out there I don't want to like hype it up, but I'm just saying, I reckon it could be a world first, doing 5 tattoos in a day and then having a child in that same day, giving birth.
Well, I think for 3 of those 5 tattoos, I was in active labor.
Yeah. That's the hustle.
Without knowing.
That's the hustle. I text
pure stupidity on my part.
all the young guys at the shop. I said, you guys better fucking step it up and hustle.
Yeah, you bloody sooks.
Bella's out here dilated 10 centimeters and she's
No, it wasn't 10.
She's still tatting.
Yeah. It was a rough day. Let's just say that.
And do I get browning points because I told you not to come to work? I said, Bella, just have a chill one. You don't have to come to work.
Yeah, and I said, nah, fuck that. I need to get my mind off this.
No, I know exactly what you said. You said one of my customers is coming from Albury. I can't fuck him around.
I think it was Albury. I can't remember where he lives. But yeah, one of my customers travels a little bit. So I was like, I obviously need to show up. I can't just cancel the morning of. That's so shit. But for the 3 days prior to actually giving birth, I was experiencing extreme like pains in my lower back and stomach. And I went to the hospital 3 times and they kept saying like, oh yeah, nah, it's all fine.
Because you were only 34 weeks.
34 and a half weeks pregnant.
At the time.
Yeah. So they were like, no, it's too early.
Which is 5.5 weeks premature.
Yeah, so he was born five and a half weeks prem, but...
No, he was born 5 weeks.
5 weeks
and 1 day premature.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought I had done like the right thing by like going to the hospital when I was in pain and like concerned that something might not be right. And they just kept being like, no, you're fine. So I was like, well, if they're saying I'm fine, I can go to work.
Yeah.
Because if I sit at home, I'm not very good at sitting still.
No, exactly. So I know we've told this story like 100 times already to people, but let's run it through.
You run it through because still in my mind, you've had a nap today, which I haven't. So you're probably way more fresh than I am.
I knew you were going to bring that up. And I've got a rebuttal if you try and make me sound bad because of that.
I won't make you sound bad.
Yeah, okay.
Not on purpose.
I'll run through your weekly recap.
Thank you.
Little bit of a lack of tattoo talk because I actually can't even remember what tattoos I've done except one. I did a full chest eagle on a customer named Glenn. I finished his back the week before. And he's got this chest eagle. He sits amazing.
I remember the chest eagle. I can't picture the back because I'm brain dead.
Yeah, he's 20 years straight edge, he was saying.
Crazy.
Which was, cool, impressive. Anyway, that was just in my weekly recap. But now ours run pretty similar.
Okay.
So on Wednesday, I had one of my good mates, Ariel. He was like, mate, it's going to be good in the afternoon.
The surf.
Because we've been surfing a bit. And he's like, what time can you finish work? And I was like, I can usually only do before work because we obviously tat like a little bit late. He's a tradesman, so he finishes at like 2 or 3. And I was like, look, I can move my days around, whatever, because, Bella's not working every day, so I'm a little bit flexible with the booking. So what we did was we moved our working day to Vintique, which is in Mordialloc, which is sort of about 30 minutes closer to our house than going into Carlisle. And I was like, hey, I said to Bella, let's start the day early. So usually our first appointment's at 11. I did my first appointment at 8:30 and you did your first at 9?
9.
And then we had 11 o'clock bookings and we finished at sort of like 2 o'clock. I think we were leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and that was purely so you could have a nice surf in the afternoon with your friend because just lately we'd been so busy and.
Yeah. So it was, we sort of made the day work and actually it was really good structure of the day. I did really enjoy it.
It was the best scenario if I wasn't in agony.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were tattooed all day. I did 2 customers. You did 2 customers. Once again, you did more tattoos than me in the time, which didn't go unnoticed, Bella. Bella was obviously struggling, a lot of pain around her stomach and the doctors had sort of told her if you go on all fours like a dog, that's sort of like a neutral position. And so she kept going into the staff room and just doing that. And
I'd like say to my customer, sorry, I'm just going to run to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I'd literally just go to the like lunchroom and crawl on the floor like the doctor told me to.
Yeah. So anyway, we got through the day, got to sort of 1:30, started to pack up. And then, went to the car. We were sitting in the car driving back and Bella was really struggling to get comfortable and moving around heaps. And
I was like a little wriggly caterpillar.
In heaps of pain and all that sort of stuff. And I guess because we'd been to the hospital the last few days and they told us like it potentially is Braxton Hicks, which is that's fake contractions.
Well, it's not real contractions. You're not in labour, but it's like your body preparing you for it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Still don't know. And I went through it.
Yeah, so they were like, it might be that or you might have like some other issues. We won't go into any like details or anything. But anyway, so we were like, oh, okay, well, not due for 5 weeks. Like, I guess this is just going to be a really annoying time for you. Get home in the driveway. Bella's rolling around on the grass. You started crying.
I did. I
was there
crying.
patting your back.
I was like so overwhelmed with the pain because I couldn't get into position. And I was like, Hal, I literally am like a fucking dog because I was rolling on the grass and you were stroking me like I was our dogs.
Anyway, you went in the pool, did a bit of cold therapy. That calmed you down a bit because I was like.
It was nice because it felt like weightless.
I had in my mind that it was like, you're obviously in pain, but you just wanted the pain to stop, and then you knew that it wouldn't. So you were getting like
overwhelmed
That's exactly by it. And that's why it was making you upset. And I was like, all right, just go in the water. It'll be cold. It'll freshen you up.
And you always get really rattled when I cry because I don't really cry.
Well, no, the thing for me is like
what do you do when someone cries?
I don't really know what to do. It's like one of these, I guess this is the thing like all people say when all the dads in the parenting situation. He's like, there's nothing for me to do. I can't
you're helpless.
do anything. And I really do struggle with the empathy side of things. Obviously, I don't know what it feels like. So,
well, when you're in pain, you can't necessarily describe it to someone because they're not in the same situation.
Exactly.
So there's no point.
And I was just like, we've been into the hospital a few days. Like,
we're not going in again.
Well, I didn't say that. But
no, I was thinking that.
And I just had in my mind, it was like, obviously, like if you needed me to stay or whatever, but I was like, it was just that awkward situation because Ariel was calling me. He's like, I'll meet you at the waves. I was like, oh, Bella's not feeling good, all this. And I was like, I didn't want to be like, hey, can I go surfing or whatever? Because then it's like, I don't know. But then there was actually nothing for me to do.
Yeah, so I knew that Ariel was like waiting for you to meet him at the beach. And I was in so much pain. And I remember 2 questions that you asked me within like a minute. And you were like, can I get you a drink or something? And then you came out with a handful of fucking Doritos. And you were like, do you want a snack? And like tried to like hand feed me a Dorito. I just kept
asking you shit because I didn't know what to,
I'm like, mate, I'm literally in my bra and undies on our grass rolling around like next to a dog shit in pain. Don't fucking talk to me. So I like screamed at you and I was like, just fucking go surfing.
Yes. Anyway, Bella's parents were coming over anyway. So they came over.
I like forced you to leave because I get really sassy.
I went surfing.
Otherwise.
And me and Ariel scored. It was a great session. For all those waiting for the surf updates, it was like picturesque in a way. And I look back now and I'm like, was that like the universe telling me something good's going to happen? It was like sun setting, warm weather, really nice conditions.
Endless summer, baby.
All the kids from school had just finished. They were all down there surfing. Their parents were filming them surf. I was like, oh, this is cool. Had a good session.
Where did you surf?
Just at Allison Ave.
Oh, okay.
Little beach break just near us. And then I get out, check my phone. Your dad's text me and he's like, hey, give us a call. We're on our way to the hospital, blah, blah. I was like, oh, fuck. So I called him. He's like, oh, it's all good. She's in here. Like, you know, the doctor's here, all of this.
Yeah, because when you left, the pain progressively got worse.
Yeah. And, yeah, our hospital is like half an hour from where we live.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it's all good. And I was like, they were like, she might stay in here overnight. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, I'll go home, sort out the dogs, feed them, have some food, and then I'll come in. Mm-hmm. So I was doing that. So I had noodles at home.
You had like one of your favourite dinners.
Yeah.
After a perfect surf.
So I was chilling. And then literally like 2 minutes after I got in the car to go, your dad called me and he's like, oh, the doctor just said like you're having the baby now. She's 10 centimetres dilated.
9 centimetres.
9 centimetres, sorry. Is that like when people say 6 foot, but they're actually 5'10" or whatever, 5'11"? Yep. All right, so 9 centimetres. Sorry, everyone. And I was freaking out because I was like, oh, that's too early.
Well, because everyone at the hospital the days previous was saying, no, it's too early. You can't be in labour. And I was like, well, fuck this.
Yeah, so I was like, fuck. And then I called my mum, and luckily she's down in Melbourne because my parents live like five hours away. And I was like, oh, this is happening. She calmed me down, all this. And then I was like, I need you to go to our house and look after the dogs. Like they're fine, but just they've never stayed at home by themselves overnight.
No way.
So I was like, can you go sort that out, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I got to the hospital like half an hour later and then went into the room and you were in there. You were actually very relaxed.
I think I was just overwhelmed with it.
Everyone was joking, blah, blah. Everyone made fun of me because I'd been surfing. It was pretty lighthearted, and then within an hour,
I think you like walked into the room and I was like, how was the surf?
Yeah. But within about like an hour and a half, you'd had the kid.
Yeah, of you arriving, yep.
It was super, super impressive. It's definitely not something that I would want to have done. I think overall from what I saw, what everything happened was like, it was a pretty like seamless birth though.
Yeah, I think towards the end, his heart rate just dropped a little bit. So they just sort of were like, we need this to happen now.
Yeah. So
But everything else was okay.
definitely.
Look, it wasn't super enjoyable.
No,
I'll
I'm
give
sure
you
it wasn't.
that. But I'm glad the way that it happened because it was so quick that I didn't have any time to like stress myself out.
No painkillers, nothing, because it was too far along already.
Yeah, when he said you're 9 centimeters, we're having this baby now, I was like, so I can't have an epidural?
Yeah. And then,
That was
it's sort of
disappointing.
like, I guess like there'll be like people listening who have had kids and a lot of people who haven't, but just sort of felt a little bit unprepared because we didn't have the bag of like the shit that we were meant to bring.
Yeah, I had everything like in a pile in the room. I just hadn't put it in a
We
bag.
thought we had like 5 weeks, so we just sort of, but yeah, luckily we'd already bought all the shit, set up the room, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting my mum to go and get all the stuff. She brought it up to the hospital. Once you gave birth, they then took Lenny into like a separate room because he was premature. They got to do all this monitoring and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, they thought that he had like heaps of fluid in his lungs.
Bit of fluid
and
in
whatnot.
his lungs and stuff. And then pretty much, and it was awesome. Like your parents were there, your sister and her wife. My mum was there, which is just lucky that she was in town at that point. So everyone got to meet him. But then the thing I guess that was has consumed the last few days of our life is because Bella delivered at the Bays, which is the hospital in Mornington, and they don't accept babies until they're 36 weeks.
Yeah.
And we obviously were 35 weeks. So they then pretty much almost immediately like took him over to Frankston Hospital.
Yeah, within about an hour and a half of him being born.
Yeah.
He got transferred.
And that's just, they've got like a premature baby ward and they have like, it's obviously like monitored 24/7 and stuff like that. So he's been there since then and they're taking him back to the Bays tomorrow.
Hoping so.
Well, that's what they said to you, but anyway,
Yes,
it might not
fingers
be.
crossed.
So yeah, we dropped him off there, or I did. I went with him because you were still in hospital.
I was a bit preoccupied.
Bella stayed in the Bays hospital for 2 nights.
Yeah. And I've never stayed in hospital ever in my life before. So I was like very terrified.
Just very boring as well.
Well, I'd just given birth. My baby had just gotten taken away to another hospital and then my husband was going with my baby. I'm like, so who's going to stay with me? I'm like, what?
Yeah. And I took the rest of the week off work and so pretty much the routine for us now is we go and see him in the morning.
For a few hours, have a feed, whatever.
Get to cuddling him and stuff and like he's just sleeping the whole time really. He's got a few little wires on him because they monitor his heartbeat and his breathing rate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They've got a little tube that goes in his nose that they can feed him through because obviously Bella's not there 24/7 to breastfeed him and when they're premature they don't have like the suck reflex so much that comes in time.
A week ago you didn't know anything, did you?
Yeah, I've been paying attention.
Yeah.
I'm conscious I don't want to give too much info about this because it would be boring as fuck for a lot of people.
Oh, some people will just be skipping through this.
Exactly.
Fine.
We go and see him twice a day. He'll be moving back to the Bays in the next day or so. And then he'll only be there for a few days and then he gets to come home.
Yay.
And then that's, I guess, when it really starts. So a lot of people messaged today when I put up the question thing saying like, what's it like initially being a parent, all this sort of stuff. But we were saying it's actually been like a really easy transition.
Other than like being really tired just from the overwhelm and the traveling because it takes us about 50 minutes to drive to the hospital where he is.
Well, that's just because we don't live near Frankston.
Yeah.
So the driving to and from sort of like twice a day.
It kills at least 2 hours.
We would go
of your
in
day.
more often, but the driving fucks you. So that's been the only downside. But other than that, it's like when you're not at the hospital because he's getting looked after, it's like it's actually you just sort of like normal life, really.
Yeah. And so since he's been in there, he's had like a bit of jaundice. So he has to be under light therapy.
Yeah.
So we can't even take him out of the incubator.
Like a little sauna light.
Yeah. I just keep saying
Yeah,
he's in
so
the solarium.
sometimes we go in and they're like, oh, we don't want him to come out.
So like you
got
can
the light
just
on.
put your little finger in.
Like you can touch him and cuddle him and stuff. No, I can't get him out and cuddle him during those times.
So
you
it's
just sort of like after you've been sitting in the room for an hour, he's asleep and there's sort of not really anything to do. But yeah, so now Bella's off for
However long.
3 months or so, maybe. We'll see how that all goes. I'm back at work tomorrow. Going to work for a week and then take 2 weeks off. And obviously when this comes out, it'll be the first day of my 2 weeks off. And yeah, I've just opened up bookings from October 12th onwards. If anyone's listening and wants a tattoo, we are going to be doing... I'm not sure if Bella's going to tattoo on it. We haven't discussed this yet, but I'll be tattooing in the Lennox Head, Byron Bay region in November. Not for the whole of November, just for 1 week. Haven't 100% locked in the dates yet, but if you're in that area and you're listening and you want to get a tattoo, let me know. Not sure how many days I'm going to tattoo, but I'll definitely be tattooing up there.
I guess it depends if someone comes with us and looks after Lenny while we work.
Yeah. Or maybe you'll tat a day and I'll not tat that day. And
yeah,
we'll just see how it all goes. But yeah, definitely going to be up in the Lennox Head, Byron Bay.
So who gets more DMs for appointments and then that person goes to work.
Ballina region. So yeah, for everyone who's listening who wants to hear about the baby talk, that's going to be predominantly it. And someone asked how we come up with the name Lenny.
I actually don't know.
No, I don't either, to be honest.
I think I heard it on the radio one day and I was like, oh yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Because we'd just whenever we heard a name or thought of a name that we liked, I'd write it in my notes on my phone, literally since we found out we were having a baby, and then we'd just delete one if we got sick of it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was just one of those things, I think we had a name sort of set that we were sort of on, but then I think once you have the kid or the kid's coming, I just kept thinking that Lenny was the name that I liked the most out of our list.
Yeah.
And then...
we changed our minds a few times throughout the process, but we never decided on one until he was actually born.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it really suits him.
I like it quite a lot.
Hey, Bella.
Hey, Hal.
Do you have any advice as a woman new to the industry? Is there anything you wish someone told you when you started? Love this pod. Thank you so much, y'all. That's from Verg Ho.
Hello, Verg Ho. Look, I've been asked this question a lot and I've never actually had a really good answer for it where I'm like, yep, that's the best way to address it.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I apprenticed under my husband, so it was a very different scenario as a female just going into a shop and whatever, because I obviously had a very good bond with my mentor, but it was incredibly challenging for other reasons. I really don't think that there's that much of a difference between a man entering the tattoo apprenticeship or a woman. I'm very comfortable around anyone really. And I think if you want this to be your career, you're going to do absolutely everything you can for it to be the best it can. And I think you just need to have an open mind. It's a new industry for you. You're going to start from the very bottom. Don't expect that you're just going to have someone's respect because you've shown up to work. You need to put in the hard yards as any apprentice would, or anyone in a new industry or job or environment. So expect it to be really hard. And if it's not, that's great because that's even better for you. But yeah, you're going to have circumstances or situations where it's like, oh, fuck, this is really difficult. That was hard. Some might be because you're a woman and it's a male dominant industry, but I didn't really struggle with that myself. So it's hard to say, oh.
Yeah. Well, I can't really add anything on this.
Yeah. But also I'm very overly confident in most situations anyway. So I've never really been rattled by, oh, no, I'm the only woman in the room or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm probably not the most ideal person for this question.
Yeah, except you're the woman on the podcast.
Yeah, I am, but I'm...
Can I make a comment? Not specifically about, not from the perspective of being a woman coming into tattooing. I don't know. Sometimes you hear people ask things about everyone likes to almost segregate themselves a little bit. And I'm not saying that's the context behind this question.
I do agree with that statement so far though.
I think in some industry, or a lot of industries, I'm trying to think how to say this without sounding like a fuckwit.
just sound like a fuckwit. And I'll back you up that you're not a fuckwit.
Yeah. I like, because from the person taking on the apprentice or the tattooers and dealing with some young tattooers and stuff is you're, as a apprentice or like a new person in any industry, you're obviously going to be at the bottom. And you know, I believe in most industries, the way you get to the top or get closer to the top is by putting your time in, having a good attitude,
proving yourself,
being modest, all those sort of things. And there's setbacks always coming, you know. It's like you think you're doing good, you think you're at a certain level, all this, and then you get a bit of a reality check and that's not the case, and you realize that. And it's like sometimes that can come across very harshly. But I've always thought I would try and tell that to someone or convey that information the same, whether it's a woman.
Oh God, yeah.
Some like any sort of different person, or just like, you know, someone who's the same as me.
Yeah.
Just a guy. And I sometimes think that people like to sort of feel, or not necessarily like make themselves a victim, but say it's like to tell themselves it's like, oh, I wouldn't have been told that, or I wouldn't have been treated that way if I wasn't X, Y, Z.
Yeah. I've definitely had scenarios in my life where I have been treated differently because I am a woman, but I have not found that I had many of those issues with tattooing. And I also didn't allow that to be the case and I think that's the mindset that you have to come in with. Don't feel like a victim, and you won't be treated like a victim in that situation because you're there to tattoo. You're there to learn these skills. So if you focus on, cool, today my tasks are A, B, and C, and if, like, regardless of your identity or your gender, whatever, as long as you get those things done and you're doing them to the best of your ability and you're learning, it shouldn't be an issue. And I think bosses should have this outlook everywhere. I wish most of them did, because I've heard some terrible stories about other industries and whatever. And I think you just need to find an environment where there aren't any idiot, bigotry, bloody scenarios. Yeah.
Well, I stumbled across that question. You answered it pretty good. So hopefully that gives you some information. Question for the pod.
Just don't tolerate the shit.
How will you handle when the child is old enough to get tattoos? I came from a family of virgin skin, and looking back would have appreciated more guidance from someone with more experience. I stumbled through my first couple of tattoos and still consider myself lucky to find the artists I did when I did, with the lack of info I had. Will you guide them into traditional or let them choose their own path? I've already thought about this.
I've thought about this too. You go first, because I just spoke a lot.
I'd be more than happy if he never got a tattoo in his life.
Yeah.
Because I think his skin looks fine.
I think he looks beautiful.
I know every parent's going to say that. I guess it's one of those things, you know, wait till they're 18, whatever they want to do. Obviously, if we've got some knowledge in that, in tattooing, we do, obviously.
They might hate the style that we do, though.
Yeah, and they might not be into tattoos. You know, they might revolt against what their parents think's cool.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, yeah, just offer them the best advice that we can. But if they're into different styles or, you know, obviously they'll be around tattooing growing up.
Yeah, so they'll have a bit of knowledge about it overall, because we'll talk about it at home, obviously.
They'll have access to good artists, all that sort of stuff. So I don't think it'll be an issue regardless of what they want to do.
Yeah.
But definitely not something that I'm like, oh, I can't wait till he gets tattooed.
Nah, that's like the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
I think generally all you want is for your child to be happy and healthy and confident in their own skin. So as long as that happens and we steer them in the right direction to be a very confident person within how they are and how they portray themselves and present, I don't really care.
Yep, I agree. Question for the pod. What do you think of tribal tattoos, and have you been noticing the slight return of them as a trendy gap filler, etc.? That was from Riley Grant. Sorry, and the question before was from Thomas Wynn, but it cuts out the last bit of his name, so that might not be the whole name. So Riley's question, do we notice tribal tattoos coming back into vogue?
I definitely notice more tribal,
Yeah.
But I will say there's a difference. There's like full-blown tribal where it's like it's more your heritage.
Like like Polynesian tribal.
Yeah, it's done because it's like
Borneo tribal or something.
religion and all of that. And then there is which I am seeing more of, yes. But I think the tribal that most people are speaking about is like just a tribal looking tattoo.
It would most accurately have historically been described as white guy tribal.
Yes. So it has
90s, 2000s.
Y2K, baby.
Yeah, that
so
sort of shit.
Most of the time it would have like no reference to any sort of tribe or anything like that. And it is just the look of, these little curly pointy lines and sort of just that style. Yes, it is Mecca. In what did you say before?
What?
What did
you
say?
Vogue.
In Vogue, thank you.
Not Mecca, the makeup company.
No. I just got an email from them though.
But that comes with a little asterisk on it, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's lots of things that are in fashion or in vogue that I definitely couldn't pull off.
God, no.
You know what I mean? It's like, so I think you have to be that sort of person. You have to be into...
We're not super trend driven with our like style.
Yeah, I think it's like, and a lot of the people, and this is, I'm not saying if don't fall into these categories, you can't get it, of course, but it was almost like, I think from what I saw, it's the progression of it coming back into popularity started with ultra cool kids who were like, this shit's actually like really lame, but I'm going to get it because it's lame and that'll make it cool. Same as how people started wearing like dad sneakers.
Yeah, when New Balance came back, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, and it was like people were wearing those sneakers that you only saw like your dad's wearing with blue jeans.
Yeah, you're wearing baggy 90s blue jeans and then you got like the like white New Balance on with the white socks and you almost look like that like American dad from like all 90s, 100%. 80s movies.
And it's like, that's cool if you're young and trendy and you're like, how uncool is this? That's what makes it cool.
Yeah.
But if you're 60
and you're wearing that, which our bloke was at the hospital the other day and I was like, oh God.
That's like, you're not wearing it because you think it's cool and trendy. That's just like what you wear.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the distinction between like, is it back and is it popular? It's like, it's not mainstream popular. No way. And it used to be mainstream popular, but now it's like almost, it's just how same as like 90s style, early 2000s styles back in. Girls are wearing low-rise jeans. Like I look at some of the shit that young people are wearing, I'm like, that is fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I look at a lot of the fashion and I'm like, that is cool.
The real trendy kids
ridiculous.
out there are dressing like Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
Used to.
Junkies.
Well, yeah, it's like
chic junkie,
that's it. And
which is, I have no problem with it. Some people can pull it off.
Well, I just couldn't pull it off.
A lot of people can't pull it off. Some can.
Can I say a fashion item, and this is going to stir some people up, a fashion item that is on par with the tribal coming back into vogue?
I think I know what you're going to say, but I want you to say it.
Solomon sneakers.
Oh, I thought you were going to say trucker man hat.
Well, that is. No, that's American TikTok fuckboy spec.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trucker hats that don't sit on your head properly, they're too tight.
Oh my God, I just want to put someone's hat on properly.
They pop up.
Just put it on your head.
So the Solomon sneakers, world class when it comes to like doing what they're meant to do.
Aren't they like hiking shoes?
Well, yes. My only interaction was when I was going on a hiking trip for school camp and my mum was trying to force me to get a pair of Solomon hiking shoes from Ray's Outdoors.
Your mum is very into appropriate footwear
she's like,
for
you
occasions.
can't wear normal runners. You have to wear the hiking shoes, all of this. And they were the absolute lamest shit. No one cool was wearing them. It was literally like if you're into like hiking, you wear Solomons.
Well, first of all, like if you're going to Ray's Outdoors.
Yeah. I don't even think they sell them there anymore. They're probably too expensive to sell at Ray's Outdoors.
Probably.
Now. But now
I used to go to like Aussie disposals to get like camping
And
stuff.
I'm not going to lie. I've seen them around. I like what some of them look like. A lot of our friends wear them. Heaps of our customers wear them.
There's certain people that can pull them off. I think
into
they're
buying
hideous.
them, all of that.
You've looked into buying them.
I just looked at them. I was like, hey, they're really popular. Like, what's everyone... I might suss them out. They're like $300, but I'm not going to spend that.
I could not pull them off. I would look absolutely ridiculous with them.
But I think it's... And I've gone off tangent here, but it's the same as like... Everyone in Melbourne, in particular, dresses like they're about to go to Antarctica or go climb Mount Everest.
Yeah, because they've all got like Patagonia or Arc'teryx.
I don't even think Patagonia is in fashion anymore.
No, it's not. It's definitely out. This is how in touch I am.
Arc'teryx, Stone Island. You like.
I feel so lame.
The guys at the shop will hate me saying this. Some of them walk into work and it's like, because they're fucking...
Yeah, when I walk past Cody and Mickey, I make that noise. And the first few times that I did it, they were like, what are you doing? I was like, that's what you sound like.
It's called Gorpcore.
Yeah.
So I put, tribal coming back into popularity in that category. It's a bit of a fashion trend. It's not back mainstream popular, which I think, over the lifespan of a trend, which let's say 5 years roughly, it's not going to last. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's like people can say that about a lot of things. People probably say that about traditional tattoos and stuff like that. But I've done some of them. I've got one. I think it looks cool. But
what's your tribal one?
This one that
I can't see.
It's not really. It's more just like big black fucking shit. But
you've had that for years.
Yeah, I think it being popular comes down to like, do you have your finger on the pulse of what's like cool and not cool?
My finger ain't on any cool pulse.
No, definitely.
We're
probably not the ones to ask. But yes, Riley, we have noticed that. You can message us in whether you think it's good or not.
What?
Well, he's asked us if we've seen it and noticed it. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to know, does he think it's cool or not cool?
Oh, okay.
This definitely, I don't want to be hating on anyone. This is like, if you get it and you can pull it off, sick.
There's some that I actually
just know that
love.
I can't.
Yeah, there's some that I love. There's some that I look at and I'm like, that is shit.
Oh, definitely.
But I think, it's just someone's like almost their fashion or like the way that they're
I saw this, I think I showed it to you, Bella. There's this TikTok that goes around. This is actually relevant to something that someone messaged me today, which I haven't put on this podcast, but it will be on next week's. It's all in America, and it was like they're doing like fit checks on the street. It's like, oh, tell us your fit and how much it costs.
Oh my God. We watched like 20 of them the other night.
I don't know if they're seeking out like the people wearing the absolute weirdest shit or people actually are wearing that in America. But
no, so are you talking about the one store? Because I think
it's out the front of the store.
It's out the front of the store, and it's the staff asking people after they've like either purchased something or whatever.
And it made me think, one, I hate fashion, which I always have.
The shit they're wearing is cooked.
Two, I hate a lot of people. And three, I do not know what is going on in fashion. It was like the stuff these people were wearing, some of them looked homeless. Some of them looked like they'd literally just been blown up in a fucking war. Some of them, like full, let's say like peak Bam Margera spec.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. It's a bit like goth style. And I was just like, the shit they're wearing, I'm like, one, super unpractical to wear.
Oh my God.
I
could not even imagine walking around with either like that much fabric or like pants that wide that like you could wrap it around my entire car.
Yeah. And the craziest thing, the price.
It's fucked.
Oh, they're like, obviously it's a bit of a flex. It's like they're wearing some of the ugliest shit I've ever seen. And let's just remember, I've been described as a footy boy before. I get it. Bit basic. I know to a lot of people they wouldn't think that. But in the grand scheme of like who's got their finger on the pulse of like fashion, all that, I'm not it.
No, neither. We are not
Yeah,
it.
I'm just a footy boy at heart and you're a wag at heart, Bella.
I am not a wag at heart, you asshole. You always either say wag or private school girl at heart.
No, I'm just the footy boy. I'm still thinking.
I would say you're more little surfer boy now.
Yeah. I think they've amalgamated into one. I'm still wearing a rip curl hat, just normal shit. I'm not getting in.
I'm just wearing jeans, a t-shirt.
Into wearing some really wild shit recently. Not recently, in the past. But that's not where my heart is. And just seeing the price, they're going $1,800 for a t-shirt. And it's got it looks seriously like it's just been cut up with a chainsaw or something. I'm like, that is just horrendous.
Yeah.
But
I'm just wearing things that allow me to be comfortable for my entire day.
Yeah.
And I can wash it 1,000 times and it's fine. Most of my t-shirts have stains and I'm like, if that's stained, I'm just going to splatter some bleach on it so I can keep wearing it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway, if you're into high fashion, I'm impressed by that because I don't get it.
I don't get it. I'm just too lazy. I just don't care that much.
Yeah. I think that's probably the thing. We don't really understand it. But when you see those catwalks of the new Balenciaga fucking thing, and it's one of the girls looks like she's a fucking balloon animal and the next girl's wearing a shoe on her head or something, and you're like, and people are clapping and shit. I'm like, I actually don't know if this is a joke or not.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. Anyway, we'll move on. Hey Hal, I have a question for you and Bella for the podcast. In your opinion, what are the qualities that make a great tattooer? Would love to hear your thoughts. Love the pod. Cheers. Owen, spelled E-O-I-N. And he's written his name and then in brackets Owen.
E-O-I-N.
E-O-I-N. I'm going to make a claim because I don't know. This is where I throw myself under the bus.
How would you pronounce it if he didn't say how it's pronounced, reading it?
I would pronounce that Eon.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's like an
Eon.
Irish spelling.
Yeah. No, because when you said the spelling, I'm just thinking Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
I like it. Very different.
What do you think, Bella?
Sorry, I got a bit captivated by the name.
So his name's Owen.
Yes. Sorry, Owen. Not Eon, Eeyore. The question again, please.
Oh, come on. In your opinion, no, this is, so you can't relate to this.
Okay.
But I can because
I've
always had people mispronounce my name and joke about it and stuff. So, Owen, we're not.
No. I'm really sorry. Look, I've just had a baby. Leave me alone. Yeah. I'm tired.
We're not making fun of your name. I just thought it was interesting that you did spell it out for us.
Yeah, thank you. Very helpful.
So that I can pronounce it. But then we probably did what you didn't want.
Yeah.
And then go back to the spelling. The question was, in your opinion, what are the qualities that make a great tattooer?
Are you going to answer, Hal? Because I'm munching on an apple.
Oh, sorry. I was sort of waiting for you to say it. The qualities that make a great tattooer, in my opinion, are technical ability. I believe that comes first and foremost. So that is your ability to, do the practice of tattooing, technical application, putting the ink in the skin with the needle. Whether you use machines or your hand poke or your taburi, whatever, it's all the same to me. I don't care about your method of application, but the technical side of it is what you have in your mind and what you're trying to do. Is that translating onto the skin? And can you do that across all different areas of the body? I've seen lots of tattooers, no knock on them. Obviously, this happens when you start. Is, they can do a really good tattoo on the side of someone's calf or someone's thigh, but then, you get into more difficult areas, ribs, around the hips, just areas where the skin's not tight, or requires more finesse when it comes to application. They struggle in those areas. So I think to be considered a world-class tattooer, and I'm saying to be considered a great tattooer, a world-class tattooer, you need to be considered that from people outside of the style that you do.
Yes.
So everyone in tattooing obviously has a preferred style as the artist, and you gravitate towards people who do that style and push that style, have unique takes on that style. But everyone will see a tattoo done, even if it's in a completely different style to what you look at any day of the week, and you can just sit there and go, fuck, that's an amazing tattoo. The technical application, the drawing, the style, all that sort of stuff, the placement, it's all, you know, like you can't knock it. So yeah, you need to sort of, your technical application needs to transcend the style boundaries that you work within. In my opinion, for you to be considered
God,
a great
you
tattooer.
sound smart right now.
I think about this a lot. You know, it's like there's tattoos that I think, fuck, I don't like that style at all. You know, I don't think that looks
But
good.
you can sit there and
Who
be
would
like,
get
fuck,
I'm
that
like,
application is perfect.
Wow, like the technique that they've, to be able to do it in that area and make it look like that, you know, that's the impressive bit. So I would say first and foremost, and for any young tattooers, you know, I'm involved with, you know, there's a lot of young guys at the shop, and you know, a few apprentices coming up from the other shops that we were involved in at Vintique, and not that they ever ask my opinion, and not that they should, but I always think the main thing, you know, before getting clients, before charging money, is like being able to do a good technical tattoo, regardless of the style, that will help you on your way to having a really good career. So number one, technical application. Then I would say work ethic makes a great tattooer. There's heaps of tattooers out there. This is the same in lots of different fields as well. Not that I've had anything to do with academia, but sport and stuff, definitely. There's people who have a great talent and skill, but they have no work ethic, and they just fuck it up, really. So yeah, you can have all the skill and talent in the world, but if you don't put the effort in, then
it's wasted.
Yeah, it's wasted, and you'll never get the opportunities to really showcase your ability. So I would say, not necessarily these are ranked, but it's like those two are pretty similar, you know? Work ethic, technical application, and then I would say style is the third one.
Isn't style fourth? Oh, sorry. Third or fourth, whatever it is.
Third.
Cool.
Yeah, style. Like, you know, I guess, you know, when people get into traditional, the cliche one or the classic one, and this is, again, no knock on him because he's, you know, a big pioneer within tattooing and within traditional, is Sailor Jerry. That's just the most mainstream one that you see.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, a lot of people will consider that. It's like Sailor Jerry's traditional, but there's so many different variations of how you can apply those designs and that style of designs. So, yeah, I think having like a unique style that doesn't compromise on the first thing, which is the technical application. And some of my favorite tattooers in the world, you know, are fast and loose with how they tattoo, and that's why I really like them. And sometimes you would say, like, a lot of people might look at that and go, oh, maybe the technical application isn't as good as it could be because they're
wanting their style to be
faster,
loose
or they think it looks better and stuff like that. So once you get to a certain level, I think you have more freedom within these things.
Yeah, and your customers are more welcome for you to play around and be a bit more open.
Yeah, so, you know, there's little asterisks on everything I say, and sometimes I'll say something and then I'll look at a tattoo and go, fuck, that's a sick tattoo, but it doesn't fall into any of the things I've just said. But I would say just for everyday tattooer trying to build a career and trying to, it's like they're the foundational blocks.
Yeah.
And then once you achieve them or get as close to them as you can, that's when you then can step outside those boundaries and really like push yourself, because you know the choices you're making. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's a conscious effort.
Yeah, if I'm sitting there tattooing and I'm not putting myself in the great tattooer category, but if I'm sitting there tattooing and go, you know what, I'm going to leave that bit a bit rougher because I actually think I want it to look like that, and I'm going to try and apply it like that. That's a different scenario than someone who's doing their second tattoo and the result comes out looking like that, but they haven't tried to make it look like
it was
that.
an accident,
Yeah.
or they don't know how they actually did it.
Exactly. And that's why I think it always comes down to technical application for me. It's like, if you can make the needles do what you have in your mind, then you can choose whether you want it to be super clean cut, real tight tattoo, or a bit loose, which gives it a different style, stuff like that,
Yeah.
But if you're just going, oh, I'm a loose tattooer, and I go, oh, sick, well, can you do like a really, you need to do a tight tattoo because this isn't like a traditional tattoo. Like I want, like the lines need to be on the fucking stencil, they need to be dead straight, look like it's fucking done on a computer. If you can't do it, then that means like there's a lack of
You're not succeeding to.
Yeah, there's a lack of technical ability there.
Yeah.
And the style that you're doing day in, day out, which would be considered loose, that's not a style choice you're making. That's just your ability isn't, that's
up
like
to scratch.
Yeah, exactly, So yeah, they're my thoughts. Rambled through that a little bit. What do you think, Bella?
You literally couldn't add any more to that. That's why I sat here agreeing.
Yeah, and that's like, I just go off, I know some of my idols and stuff would have different opinions to me, but I think that was the way that, because I always put in to, when people ask these questions, what makes a great tattooer? It's like, I always factor in like the career aspect as well. And I know there's people out there who like can do world-class tattooers and would be considered, some of the best tattooers in the world, but they choose to never tattoo. They might tattoo once a month, or like they do paintings all the time and they barely tattoo. Tattooing is just one aspect of their art portfolio and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that falls more, that kind of person is more like they're an artist. So the question would be like, what makes a great artist? Whereas if you want to be a great tattooer, I think career comes into it big time.
Yes.
How many people have you tattooed? How many tattoos have you done? What's your body of work look like?
Yeah, like are you only doing palm size, or are you doing large scale work?
Exactly, and someone who's previously been on this podcast, Hamish Hamilton, we've got some differing views on tattoo careers and tattooing and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's like if you go on his profile, Mr. Gargantua, and you look at that photo that he posted recently of all the back pieces done at the shop, his shop King Kong's, with Jackson and this is gonna make me sound like an idiot. Can't remember the other guy who works there. I follow him.
Why am I thinking Sean? I know it's not.
No. Anyway, it's just really rude because I know he listens to it, and I talk about him not all the time.
We talk about him in the shop. His work.
Yeah. And
I'm pulling the baby card again.
what?
My mind is not here.
Yeah, Elliot.
Thank you.
That's it. So Elliot, Jackson, and Hamish, who's Mr. Gargantua, they put up these photos of all these back pieces they've done, and they're probably like 20 plus people in there, or around that, and it's like that's sick. Like there was so many tattooers who you never see, like commenting on stuff who were like commenting, like it was so impressive. And that was like, it was just like impressive how much like the body of work, it's like that's tattooing, that's a tattoo career. That's
how much those three guys have pumped out.
Exactly.
And I think it was in like the past year or something.
Yeah. It's like you have to factor that in. So that's where it comes down to work ethic. And time tattooing, and obviously that build it up over time. But I think if you want to be considered like a great tattooer, it's like your body of work, your career, that stuff factors into it. Yep. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. And Bella wants to do one more question.
I reckon we have time for one more.
Coming up on 58 minutes.
Yeah, well, it won't be a big rant.
I timed it to absolute perfection.
I don't know about that.
No, all right, I'll get one more quickly.
Come on. Think quick.
I'm trying to. There's a lot about the baby that have come up, so I don't want to.
Well, I don't think we're ever going to answer many more about the baby.
This one's from Tinic Exo, T-Y Nick Exo.
Okay.
Not sure how to pronounce that. We'll call him Tinic.
They didn't add in their pronunciation.
No. No. Did your whole perspective on life change after witnessing Lenny's birth, or is that a myth?
Yes and no.
Woo.
What was that noise?
That was like, whoa.
Like I think when you decide that you want to have children or you're told you're pregnant or whatever, you do have some thoughts or whatever that is you're sort of thinking like, oh, wow, this is going to be life-changing.
Yep.
And you realise that your life won't be the same after that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way that you think about the importance of certain things in your life or certain aspects of how you live changes.
Mm-hmm.
So like my main thing that I think about every second of the day is he happy and healthy and safe?
Yeah.
That's literally all that's consumed me since he's been born.
Mm.
Whereas prior to that, I never really thought about anyone else's time more than my own.
Yeah.
And yours. Like I think about us as a couple and our life and how we're spending our time and is what we're doing fulfilling us and all of that. That's probably like the main thing.
So I think that means yes then. For me, definitely yes. I've always had like a real selfish life mindset. And I think that's like, I'm partially to blame for that, but I also think in my first career, which was professional sport, and it's talked about a lot in that environment, is in order to get the best out of yourself in that environment, it's like you have to be selfish because your body is your workplace.
Yeah, and you're the only one who can get you to where you want to be.
And that's, it's like essentially from, when you're young teenager, even younger, you've got these goals and you're really, really driven to achieve it. That sort of creates a selfish lifestyle and a selfish mindset.
Well, yeah, the coaches and whatever were prepping you and like preparing you for this industry that you wanted to work within.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get you into the right like mental game.
And if you want to get that success or achieve what you want to achieve, it's like you have to adopt that.
Yeah.
Initially. And once you get to a certain level and you've established yourself and you've got a career and stuff, I think you can then relax on the selfishness. But it definitely is, and that's that's the hardest transition coming out of professional sport, is that transition from like,
it's not all about
it's not
you.
just about me anymore. It's not about my schedule and everyone has to work around that and stuff.
For example, Hal used to come over to my house for sleepovers and he'd sleep on the floor. This is like when we were in high school and after, because he would bring his own blow-up mattress and sleep on the floor because my mattress he didn't like with his back.
Yeah. And you could say that's selfish and I could say, you know what?
And I was like,
or
this
am
is
I just
weird.
fucking doing what it takes, Bella?
Yeah, don't even bother coming over.
And yeah, I've had that same mindset when it comes to tattooing and business, and definitely have sacrificed a lot of family, friend time, and even me and Bella time for the pursuit of tattooing. And you have as well once you started tattooing. And so for me, it was like, as soon as Lenny was born, it was actually crazy because I was like, I had all these plans and these ideas. It's like, I want to buy this, I want to do this, whatever.
Want to do this for work. And
then it was like, I didn't think about a single one of those things for the next few days. It was like,
well, until probably now when someone's brought it up.
Yeah, I was just like, it's like it's not about me anymore, or it is about me in the way that it's like my essentially whole life goal is to provide for Lenny and to give him the best life. And ultimately you can swing that around and it comes back to, it's like, oh, well, like giving him the best life means maintaining the best career that we can.
Yeah.
Financially continuing on doing the best we can, because then that gives us the options to do whatever we need to do with him or what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can definitely, my perspective was like, fuck, like initially I was like, I could see myself.
Someone's at our front gate.
Sorry. Can you
just let the dogs out?
Hang on 1 second. I always say sorry if you can hear the dogs, and I'm pretty sure you would have been able to hear that. They were both sleeping, and then there was a bit of barking going on. But yeah, I was like, as soon as he was born, I was like, I can see myself, you know, like if I needed to, like never doing another tattoo ever, or never going to work again, or if, you know, for whatever reason we need to move to somewhere that's, you know, not where we ideally want to live, or you know, might not be necessarily close to our family or whatever. I was like, I would happily do all those things, and they would understand that. And
well, yeah, they made sacrifices when we were their babies and have since we were born.
And so I've definitely been, and it's given me perspective in the fact that it's like I've definitely been guilty of seeing other tattooers who were in really, really strong positions in tattooing as a whole, in their lives, in their own careers, and they've made decisions that at the time I couldn't understand, obviously based around family situations, stuff like that. And I go, you know, I've been guilty of going, why the fuck would you do that? You know, like you had it all, or you know, you had something that everyone wants, and you sort of gave it away for something else. And that I think when you're not in the same position as that person, it's really difficult to see why they're making those choices. Yeah. So that's why I think 100%. It's like, it's true, you know, like equating it to having dogs and pets and stuff, it's like there are some similarities, but I think it's like it's a full mindset change. And I'm not really sure where my head's at with that, but
it's weird because we've only had a few days of being parents. We also haven't been able to bring our child home. We're a little bit sleep deprived, and maybe ask us in a few months again.
Yeah, but definitely going back to tattooing. And
I will be too.
Yeah,
I ain't quitting.
I'm pretty sure we'll end it there, Bella. We've got a lot of questions sitting there from the thing I put up today, people asking questions.
Yep.
We'll be back to regular programming, all things going well. Every Monday, 6 a.m, new episode, Spotify, Apple Music. If you want to leave us a review, a rating, send us in any questions, any comments.
Opinions.
Yeah, any rebuttals to things that we say. And we'll keep going, doing exactly what we're doing, back to work. Bella's obviously not going to be tattooing, but it'll be interesting to hear what her life is on here, or maybe she'll get kicked off the podcast.
You'll find someone else better.
Yeah. And thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week.
I'm just going to add, thank you to everyone who's purchased Carlisle Threads stuff. Mm-hmm. We didn't expect such a huge response from it, and we are ordering some more of the teas and some of the most popular items. So they will be up on the website. I'm not sure the date, we'll announce it, but there's more coming. So if you missed out, keep your eyes peeled. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
This episode is brought to you by Carlisle Tattoo Co. 178 Carlisle Street, St Kilda, Melbourne, Australia.